So I actually wanted to first. I'm not done with it yet, so I'm a little hesitant on showing it to you guys. But I wanted to show you what I've made it so far. Said she's not complete, but I still wanted to show you in the Discord, so it'll be on your guys' phones or whatever. But under the our content tab, I've started designing the interior of the Broken Star. This is how far I've gotten so far. The so the blue highlighted area, that's going to be like the
Your beard's touching your mic again.
it is again. Sorry. Let me get that out of the way. Um the blue area is like the shield thing, so that way the ships can pass in and out, but like also that like that door like goes across and closes.
Okay.
The all the like the little green areas that I've colored in there, those are like computer terminals, or like areas that where if you go up to those instruments, there's something like computerized, like in the front part of the ship where like where the bridge is at, where the pilot seat is at. That's got those instruments in front of him where the pilot would be at. And then like the spot towards the back is where the like the comms are in that spot there towards the back on the left hand side. They're over there. And then the gray area that has what kind of, I tried my best to represent ladders, which are just like the things that start off a little bit wider and become narrower and they have lines that go across. Those are supposed to represent ladders. Like there's a ladder that goes
Okay.
up to the pilot seat, and then there's two ladders that lead up to the gray area. The gray area. The gray area is elevated up, and that there's a kind of like a catwalk up that overlooks the hangar bay. And up there's like uh, some like kind of what I'm envisioning is like the the gray blocky like wall computers of like the 80s, and like what would be in like if you wanted to print something out in like the, I think it was like the 50s or 60s. um but actually let me look that up, because I it's like a room, what, a room size computer, 50, yeah, unveiled 1946. So it's just like this big, like almost like that wall is just full of instruments. If
Okay.
you or like what you would think to be a um, a server room, where it's just like just concentrated computer technology that's in front of you, that's got all these little buttons and switches and little screens. That's kind of what it looks like. Um, that's what those green areas are. I haven't got them labeled yet. When I finish doing the design of the interior, I'm gonna end up having like kind of like how the Falcon interior is set up in that picture that I shared with you guys, where there's a number corresponding to each part of the ship. So like if you want to see where the cockpit is at, or where the escape pods are, or where the guns are, all that stuff is gonna be labeled at when I'm closer to finishing. Um, yeah. Let's see here. I want to look at this planet. While the live stream's going. Minor options. Hide all UI. Get my controller to stop moving. There we go. and then I'll plug it in, and then I'll close my room door because the dryer is going out in the hallway and it's clickety-clacketing whatever's in there. There we go. So yeah, it's kind of coming together. The little kind of the rooms in the back that look like they have like little squares jutting out of them, that's supposed to represent doors. I'll come up with a better way to represent them maybe later, but I'm almost done with this kind of first layer. There is like a second layer up above, so you have access to the engines. And the layer up above is going to be slightly narrower. It's kind of like I've kind of dubbed it when I've been looking at it. It's kind of like a mohawk almost. There's like a spot that's like a little bit narrower and sticks up from the ship a ways. So it kind of looks like a really wide but kind of shallow like mohawk that has the engine attached to it. And then, of course, the lasers or the guns are attached to the ends of the wings at the moment. And also, when
Except
looking
for
at the
one quad mount, wasn't it? Or no, we didn't do. We don't have another. We just have the forward facing.
yeah, there's the forward facing, and then there's also that there's a middle gun on the top, like a dorsal fin, that has a 360 mount on it. That wasn't represented in this picture, and I think in another picture, there was.
I just wanted to make sure we're we're going to be considering, because if that's what was it you said? Was it a dorsal mount?
Yeah, I believe that's what it was called. That's what it called it out as.
So how are we doing this since Noel's not here?
For the moment, he's deep in meditation inside the meditation chamber. In one of the meditation chambers. He's currently asleep, unable to wake up, also known as dead. What? No. Nope. But he's just effectively, he's like just knocked out, basically. He's communing with the Force. We'll say that. Okay. But I wanted to talk over with you guys. Basically, as y'all were leaving from Naboo, which last session, you guys had, as a kind of a brief recap, you guys had met with, where did I put her character? Did I put it under NPCs? Did I put it under heroes? I don't know where I put her character sheet at. Maybe Roll20 deleted it?
You didn't accidentally put it on Jumpgate?
No.
I don't think so, because we played it over here.
Uh-huh.
Is it a physical card?
I don't think so.
Because I remember you showing the picture on the initial picture anyway.
On Discord. Maybe I didn't make a character sheet? Is Roll20 trying to gaslight me?
I thought you said maybe you didn't say what the character's type was.
Huh.
That was one thing I thought we were going to go over.
Anyway, that's not going to be too important in this session. I'll make sure to make it again. It's very strange. That actually happened in my D&D campaign that I'm a part of, where we went back and we were like, something feels kind of off. Like there's stuff missing, like stuff from our notes that are missing that we had typed up. And I'm like, no, I think I've got everything. But Um, anyway, so you had come across. Oh, you know what? I did write it down. I did write it down in my player's handbook. Yes, Raven Vess. Human female with jet black hair and emerald green eyes, who is your guys's like informant to the New Republic, um, and basically you're kind of like your middle man, middle woman to communicating with the higher ups and leadership of the New Republic, and she's the one that basically is relaying your guys' tasks slash missions while you're working for the New Republic. Um, she's also revealed to be deceptive in the fact that she can like mimic like basically she can change her voice to come off as more of like a simple servant girl, and then in a almost in a moment her whole demeanor changes and she's this kind of gruff, basically kind of um, like gruff, down to earth, rough and tumble kind of voice that um, in that
Foreshadowing?
she's not like she's able to like hide weapons on herself. So she pulls out like would it be like a snub sniper rifle, a shortened
You
sniper
said a
rifle
snub.
basically.
Yeah.
Um, and that she's potentially deadly. Um, quite deceptive. Got past your guys' eyes as being she passed off as a simple servant girl for the Queen of Naboo. Um, well, we wanted to, or at least I wanted to, kind of flesh out the process for like if you're doing like a transpond, like if you're leaving from a planet or if you're coming to a planet, you basically have got like a checkpoint slash um like there's a whole like hailing and identification process basically. Um, so when your ship would be hailed either by it's gonna be it would come over your ship's comms. It would be like on a direct channel to you, kind of like how an airport tower would talk to an individual flight or to individual airplane. They would get basically clearance codes to progress to whatever gate, or if they had access to whatever landing pad that was open, making sure that there's no vehicles in the way, making sure there's like no debris in the way or whatever. Um, these are all the reasons like why you need to communicate with, if it is like basically um, a air traffic tower basically. They will hail you, or like they'll try to contact you basically. Um, they will ask for basically your identification codes and the reason for your travel. Um, and this would have happened in you would have heard between Raven and the traffic control officer over the comms. You would have heard this discussion, this kind of this back and forth dialogue. It is usually like normally it's just business. Like you're going here, okay, you can fly here right now because it's open. You can do that now. Your travel has been logged or whatever. Um, so it would be you would have like a clearance code. If they would ask for a clearance code later to making sure that like, oh yeah, you're clear to go for this sector over here. Like they give off like a coordinate like J2 or H7 or B3, kind of like battleship. um, and you could say like, oh, we have medical supplies, or we are giving relief effort to this planet, or we're a transport ship bringing refugees to this planet. Those would be example reasons that you could give to the traffic control tower, um, or to whoever is hailing you. Um, these would be examples of what you would say. Your verification code is like your transponder code is kind of like the VIN number for your vehicle, right, Zach? Is what you were saying?
Yeah, well, yeah. So it says in most of the Star Wars thing that the transponder is galactic. It's like
Galactic
universal
Basic.
across all the, yeah, it's something that's uh it was necessary for all ships to have something that could be checked up on to make sure that ships aren't running into each other, essentially. Stuff like that. And like how you can identify, almost like a, from what I remember, it's almost like a VIN number for it.
Okay.
So you could obviously, you could still scrub it or change it. um Probably like kind of like hack the DMV or whatever to
Mm-hmm.
chain or to wipe something away.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not exactly sure how they do it sometimes in the movies, but as far as I know, that's how it works. Which I think, and I'm not entirely sure, but I would
Mm-hmm.
think that there's a way for them to be able to identify that um, on the outside of the ship too. So it's Bonder.
Well, there is a thing where like you could try to like if you wanted to obscure your transponder code to look like something else, you could do like a um what's that? You could do like a splice action or something like that, or like basically you could try to hack the transponder code as it's going over to try to make it look legit. Or you could try getting one that is legit and have it pass off as your own, like what they did with the Falcon. Or no, even not with the Falcon, but like in Episode 6 when the rebels are going to Endor to the moon. They're like, and that's where you get the line was like, where Han says to Chewie, fly casual or whatever. I don't know, fly casual. Um, but they say it's like, or what did they say? Um, it's an old code, but it checks out. Isn't that what they say? Something like that. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've seen Episode 6. Um,
So in canon, it says the transponder signal or code was a type of signal broadcasted by and used to identify starships, or at least starships whose owners obeyed the law. An individual ship's transponder was built into the vessel itself. A transponder code could be used for a purpose of tracking. Droids also made use of transponder codes. Some smuggling ships, such as the Millennium Falcon, were capable of transmitting false transponder codes. Transponder signals could be utilized to unlock starships from the outside. Um,
hmm.
Information contained within a ship's transponder code, transponder included, but was not limited to its name, port registry, captain, and weapons profile. With the transponder therefore identifying any ship in question, law enforcement agencies use transponder codes to identify wanted vessels. In the same vein, if a ship was without a proper transponder, law enforcers might be clued into the fact that it was being used in criminal activity. So you could have it on or off. Let's see.
Hmm.
Flying the Razor Crest. Why should emitting? Yeah, this is the um, Okay, so yeah, basically it's people who are using it to follow the law, and I'm assuming you can that it signals out or you can turn it on
Okay. Hmm. Maybe that's
because
something
it would
that
be
I'll look
weird to
more
be able
into.
to just pass out all the information off,
Right.
the identification, the ship's weapon types, and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we can figure out more of those details later, but I just kind of
Yeah,
wanted
yeah,
to make
yeah. Anyway,
that. Mm-hmm. So, and then basically, you're expected to follow the instructions of what the air traffic controller would say, like, oh, proceed to said route, or you're clear for takeoff, basically. Um, we're ready to receive you, or something like that. You're clear to land on whatever, if it would be an area or if it would be a platform. Um, you would be able to comply with whatever he said, or you could just choose to not heed to it, um, and face the repercussions, if there are any, if you get away. Um, but yeah, so you hear the between um, uh, Raven, or yeah, is it Raven or Raven? Raven, yeah, Raven Vest, right? I don't remember how to pronounce that.
it's your character,
R
but
R
I'm gonna say
A
it's.
Ravyn. Raven? I don't remember. I
You
don't
said
remember.
Raven the first time.
Yeah, I know. I I just I don't
Let's
know
just
why
stick
I
with
spelt
Raven.
it. I don't know why I spelt it so weird, but I wanted it to be kind of interesting.
Because you want me to stick with.
She goes by Raven. Let's say that. She goes by Raven. But her name is spelled different. Okay. So so Raven Vest and basically the air traffic controller kind of have this back and forth going with the transponder code, making sure things are clear and whatever. And she puts her hands on the controls and gets the ship all ready to go. And she lets Silverus know that we are good to go when everyone's ready. And then you guys took off, heading towards Hosnian Prime. That was last session, pretty much. Um, we figured out what Fenrir looks like, which was quite interesting. Um,
hmm
and yeah, you guys are aboard the Broken Star. Is there anything that you would like to do um, while you were on the ship? I forget if I'd asked this last time. Yeah, or you think you guys were like checking it out or something like that. But was there anything specific you wanted to do on board the ship?
Okay, are we in space right now? Like, we're in
I would
hyperspace at the
say
moment?
um, we are just after you guys got clearance from the air traffic control. You guys can take off. You can head out wherever it is that you wish to go. You guys haven't officially
Is
launched into light speed yet. You guys are still. You can do whatever you want. So you guys have clearance to leave the planet now, and you're currently leaving the planet.
is there a specific station where you go to control shields?
There is, yes.
I would like to go and just look around that station, and then afterward, I want to head back to the meditation chamber, and I'll just meditate there.
Okay. So you find the control panels that look like that control the shields. Go ahead and make an intelligence check for me, please. when you go up and you look at the things. Not at advantage.
Well, just take the first number.
21. Okay. Um. Hair in my mouth. Not fun. Okay. Um. You look at the panels and you're like, oh yes, that's definitely the Shield's computer. You kind of, as you're glancing through, you see that you understand the ship has 27 temporary hit points, or sorry, shield points. You know that you have fortress shields, just means that you recover shields at a slower rate, but you have more of them. Um, and that you think that this, as small of a ship as this is, it's got a good amount of shielding. And then
Alright.
afterwards, you do find a meditation chamber. It is currently the first one that you find is unoccupied.
And I shall occupy it.
Are you shocked by it? Is that what you
Well,
said?
before we... No, I said I will occupy it.
Oh,
Because
you
we've already
occupy
looked
it.
at it
Sorry.
before.
hmm Yeah, inside it's fairly simple decorations. Um, you see there's some uh, like very simple tapestry that's on the walls. There's a basically a rug, a fairly comfy rug on the floor, and then there is a table that's on towards the back of the room that has some fairly simple tools that look like it's meant for like holding different parts of a project while maybe you're working on another or you're attaching a couple pieces together. Um, yeah, this is a meditation chamber. There's not really too much to it. It's pretty simple.
I'm just gonna chill out here
Okay.
till we
You
arrive at
feel
our destination.
you feel uh, undistracted. You are there with your thoughts. The outside, like sounds that were happening throughout the ship, there's like nothing happening here. You don't even hear the hum of the engines or um, anything. It's like a sensory deprivation chamber in there. Nothing really going on. You feel like you can think clearly and meditate.
We,
Mm-hmm. Severus, are you doing anything? Any kind of looking around the ship?
Uh, while I was taking a look at the data pad, I noticed that it had heightened security. How are we determining that? Did we did we make a determination that it's just automatic? That it knows that um, we are friendlies when if there's a situation, or is there something that we should upload biometrics or something that identifies us as friendlies?
Things that identify you as friendlies. What were you thinking in
The
particular?
the boarding feature where the
Oh, you're talking about like the security system in the ship.
yeah, the
Okay.
boarding system and stuff.
Um, I
Like, there
think
should be a set for cameras and stuff like that. Like I don't think we have an actual security suite, but we have a system of cameras and turrets and all sorts of stuff.
right. So, um, what I'll do is on the top, on the second layer that I haven't designed out yet for this ship, there is going to be a room that's set there for security cameras. And being able to manipulate the turrets and stuff like that. A lot of the stuff is going to be automatic. This is just more or less just to keep. It's like a little security office more or less that has the cameras and you can monitor the progress of the people who are milling about and see who's in the mess hall and slacking off, as opposed to who's actually in the hangar bay and working.
Yeah, I was just more of like, if I was going more deep into it, I was gonna go around and be like, ask for a sample from all our teammates to put it into
Oh
the
yeah.
system or something like that.
Um,
You know,
it has like a facial recognition thing where it sees the people who move inside the ship and who are occupying the ship, and we'll just say it figures out who's friend and foe. Or you can set,
go for the intelligence of the
you
ship.
could you could set who the friendlies are, because the way that anti-boarding system works is that it's an action done by the ship, correct?
Well, it says it can be activated from the cockpit or if there is a security suite.
Okay.
Anti-boarding system is a robust series of blast doors, cameras, and hidden turrets
Mhm.
reinforcing each portal throughout the ship as well as directly outside each ship entrance. These features are controllable from the cockpit or the security suite if it exists by a crew member. The anti-boarding system comes with its own power backup in case of a main system failure, and the reinforced doors have a bypass of DC-20 intelligence with a security kit check.
Hmm. Okay.
So I
It
don't know if
doesn't
they activate
say
automatically unless we have that, what is it,
the
um,
security suite.
no, I was gonna say that one computer,
Oh yeah, the
central computer thing that
mhm.
allows you to make moves when it's not, when initiative hasn't begun. That would probably be something that could activate due to that.
That could maybe have a thing to do with it, but we'll just say that like probably initiative order 0, basically at the end of each, or maybe make it, yeah, maybe we'll just make it like initiative order 10, where basically if the ship ever gets like boarded on, we'll see that the ship itself has like its own action that it does on initiative of 10, and we'll identify like where little hidden turrets are at, and you can basically, as the crew or maybe the captain, whoever is like in control of either the cockpit, or if we just let the ship kind of do its own thing in that aspect. But like you guys as a crew can decide what target the ship shoots at inside the ship. We could do something like that.
Okay. Um,
I should really have more of
jumping
these
off
tabs
that.
open. And then this one, I want to have set to that. Let's leave that one blank. Just need to look something up. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of how the anti-boarding will work. Yeah. Did you have any other questions, or if you wanted to check anything out about the ship, Zach?
Uh, yeah, I was kind of looking
Oh, okay.
over the stuff, trying to. I'm looking at the tractor beam right now. We're scanning through the data pad on the
Mhm.
tractor beam. Very safe, thorough.
It looks like
Okay.
that the tractor beam meant for is like positioned in the perfect place for being able to bring either debris or cargo into the hangar bay. Like it's like that's what it's set up for. But it can obviously do more things with the tractor beam. But
Mhm.
that's what its primary purpose was used for, was bringing stuff into the hangar bay, um, safely efficiently and easily controlled from the cockpit. You have a clear view of where the tractor beam is at, and you have a clear view of the hangar bay, like the entrance of the hangar bay.
I will sit down in the cockpit, and we've already gotten permission from Tower to leave, so I'm going to. I think I already initiated the engines, but I'm going to
Yep.
take
Oh
off
yeah, the engines are already going.
into at least into space or into outer space, probably orbiting the planet for now.
Okay. It takes a couple minutes, but you do make it into above the planet's atmosphere and its gravitational pull. I mean, like, you're still within the planet's gravitational pull, but it's very weak at this point. But you are in outer space on your own volition. You look over the fuel consumption, like how much you have in the tank as opposed to the max capacity of it. You see the your power levels. You see your weapons that are online versus offline. Um, you see where your power dice are located at, or like what's being allocated to where. You got a whole readout of the whole ship in front of you.
Okay, and let's see. Take a quick scan of the system
Okay,
that's
you
out
can do
there.
so. And you see that there's let's see, how far can your scan go? Um, I don't know how far that scan can go to, but we'll just say that you see a variety of sizes of craft coming and going from the planet. You see, just even looking out through your viewport, you see transport ships, you see cargo ships, some that you recognize, some of them you don't really recognize. You see some, um, um, you see a couple of N1s that are kind of making a circle around the planet as they're going around, and the you see some ships from different manufacturers, from different companies, from all over the place. Um, yeah, you see the different planets that are there. You see the planet of Naboo, of course. Was there anything that you were looking for in particular?
Uh, I mean, not really. Just kind of, honestly, stupid debris. Was just kind of looking
Okay.
around. Not really.
Um,
Let's see where we.
Sure enough,
And
there's some
Q70.
debris off to the side, and you can see like a little clump of asteroids off to one area, and you're not flying anywhere near those.
How big are the asteroids?
Um, they're probably, I mean, the group of asteroids that's there is small enough for, like, if you were to fly into them, you get jostled about a bit. Like if you were to fly right through them, you would be able to, at a slow speed, be able to maneuver around them and not take any damage. At, I would say, someone who's even moderately skilled at flying a ship this size could go between those asteroids.
So they're bigger than the ship.
Yeah,
Okay. Where was that place?
but who knows if there's even smaller
217.
asteroids floating around those. They might be baseball shaped, basketball shaped, car shaped.
Where was that location that we were supposed to go to? Do you remember where it came up on the galaxy map? It was like, I thought it was like M17 or.
The one page I didn't open. It is. Was it N7? No, it wasn't. I should have written it down.
What's the name? We're going to. What's the name of the place we're going?
Hosnian Prime. That is located. Oh, come on!
It's
It just
right
popped
in the
up.
middle.
M12.
M12.
Yep, right in the middle
Yep.
of M12. I was looking. It was actually on my screen when I flipped over. Yeah,
So
M12.
like, it's at least when I opened the page, it was just right in my face. I was like, "You guys missed this."
Yeah,
It's the first thing.
Yeah,
it's
it's over on Naboo.
it's pretty big. I missed it. I don't know how.
Holy crap.
Mhm.
It's like days, bro. Days.
Space is a big place.
Yeah.
Now you could make shortcuts. That is an option. You could find potentially a faster route if you have a good enough astrogation check.
Right.
So you could shave off some time. But going down the major trade routes is going to be your safest slash fastest bet. But you could take shortcuts.
I'd like to come close to these asteroids and check to find one. Uh, let's say
Mhm.
one of tiny size.
Yeah, you could do so. You find a tiny one. It's like maybe about the size of a a car.
Yeah. Or yeah.
Mhm.
Um. See. Trying to bring back myself to the other page. I close out of it. I think I accidentally closed out of my roll 20. I do find one that's of
Mhm.
that size. I'd like to see if I can't use the tractor beam on it.
You certainly can.
Yes.
There is another set of controls besides the piloting controls, like that will give you like the pitch and the yaw of the ship, and you can bank with the ship and all that. There's a separate set of controls that kind of sits on the outside, and it's set up almost like an excavator with like you got two poles that come up, and you can adjust them independently, and then there's foot pedals on the ground, so you can like actually like rotate the ship if you need to, or you can tell the tractor beam to rotate the item out in space actually. So
Okay.
you could if you wanted to tell that object with your tractor beam to move in any 3 dimensions and give it any kind of pitch and yaw that you want it to have. I'm trying to get uh, that character sheet to load for me, but it's not even wanting to opening up now. There we go. No, I don't want to open that. I didn't even click on it. Open this. Why would you open that right away? Let me refresh the page.
I'm gonna be honest here. This is my intent. This is the idea I had, and I'm sure you
Mm-hmm.
guys kind of figured out what it was. I want to take that thing and I want to store it inside, and then I
Okay.
want to be able to take it and remove it later.
Sure.
But I don't know whether or not that's going to be possible.
There we
I
go.
would assume that we would be able to jettison it from our hangar bay, but I don't know how you want to.
Hmm. I would say you could do so with some maneuvering. You would occupy using the tractor beam. Um, if you wanted to try to fly and use the tractor beam at the same time, it would be possible. Yes. There are secondary controls inside the hangar bay to control the tractor beam. Basically, kind of like once the item is inside the hangar bay, the controls from inside the hangar bay take over, or not even necessarily take over, but like they can be taken over from there to better control the wreckage while it's inside the hangar bay. Um, but like the controls outside are a little bit more crass and are a little bit more, they're not quite as smooth necessarily. I wanted to look up here the right. This modification adds a tractor beam to the ship. Has a range of 600 feet. Okay, each ship or object of your size or smaller within the firing arc must make a strength saving throw of DC 8 plus the ship tier plus the ship strength mod. So basically, what I need to do is have this asteroid. It rolled a 3. So you successfully tractor onto the asteroid, the tiny asteroid that you came across. You can move it up to 200 feet because it is 2 sizes smaller than you.
Uh, let's see. How am I going to do that? You said I can position it more, or I can use it more carefully from inside of the hangar bay?
You can more carefully maneuver an item inside the hangar bay with the controls from inside the hangar bay. The idea is like the ship is situated so that way you can better control whatever's inside the hangar bay from inside the hangar bay. Because sometimes you're dealing with a ship, and the ship is very delicate to try to control. You can do everything from the cockpit, yes, but like if you're wanting to like, oh, we need to get the ship up just a little bit, you know, you can use the controls from inside. They
Well, I would
also
like
kind of
to
serve as a backup as well.
carefully maneuver this tiny asteroid into our hangar bay.
Okay,
I
you
know I'm not in the room, but what does Raven have to say about this?
um, she just kind of gives a whimsical look and is kind of curious about your intentions, but you're the one flying the ship, so and she gets paid regardless of whatever happens. So she's just kind of along for the ride, really. She's like, if you guys want to haul an asteroid from Naboo, she's thinking that like basically you're taking a rock from the beach and you're taking it with you. basically what she's thinking right now. She's like, they're a tourist. Okay. Cause like she kind of is like, as you get onto it, it's like, oh, getting some practice in, huh? And she kind of like encourages you to keep trying to move the asteroid.
I glance
You
over.
can
Like, yeah.
use, you can use its move. You can move a tiny object, a ship or object two or more sizes smaller. So a tiny object would be 2 sizes smaller than a medium, up to 200 feet. So you can, in theory, use the tractor beam to move the asteroid out 200 feet into space and have it hit something. Potentially. Throwing it out there. It's an option.
I'm sure that was his plan.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm picking up and I'm encouraging. Against
Yes.
my better judgment, probably, but yes.
And if you think about it, in space things don't just stop. So
Correct. It's
it would
basically a
just keep
torpedo. It's a
moving.
big torpedo. Just
I
launch it out
I
there.
created
Hopefully
a
hit
mass
something.
driver using the second.
No. No. No hyperspace with asteroids. I will not allow it. It would change space
Oh,
combat
if
for the
like
worse.
yeah, that would be something. Trying to launch something at hyperspace, that thing would be going faster than hyperspace. Just or it'd be like throwing a rock while you're driving at 60 miles an hour when you throw a rock out the window, and you're just like, oh, he just drive by with that freaking asteroid. Go on my
And
phone door, I'm just like, fuck you guys.
and this is why the DM can say no to things. Ooh. Ah, my face hurts. I'm smiling. Oh.
Alright,
Okay.
so, anyway.
Alrighty,
I
so yes, you
successfully...
successfully tracked her onto it. You get the asteroid closer to the ship, and you realize you have not opened the doors to the hangar bay.
Ah, blast it. Raven, can you go open the doors? I assume that's down there somewhere. I mean, I'm sure I might have something at the
She
cockpit.
reaches over your shoulder and flips one of the switches.
Thank you. As I'm
Uh-huh.
still trying to hold on to until the controls for the tractor beam.
As the door opens, there's it's an alarm. It's like it kind of like a spooling up sound. It's like, whoop, and it kind of sounds off a couple of times as the doors retract and a blue kind of shield, passable shield forms as the door is opening up. I kind of think of it as like you remember in the classic, and I say classic, but like the Battlefront 2 when you could fly into the other ship in the space battles. That's what it's kind of like, but like how in um, with the blue going across, like you could fly into it. Um, that's kind of what I'm kind of picturing, I guess. Um, but the doors split in the middle and go off to recess themselves inside of the ship's armor, and a blue plasma wall essentially forms, and the essentially the asteroid is um, on the platform that sticks out from the kind of is the nose of the ship. It's like hovering above the platform.
Before I bring it in,
Hmm.
I want to do a quick. I want to do a full scan of the asteroid.
Okay, go ahead and make using the ship's intelligence. I think it's intelligence.
Probably be whatever investigation is, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead and make you roll a d20 and add 1 onto your roll for to do a scan.
And add 1.
Yeah, d20 plus 1.
Hold on. Double check. I don't have my character up real quick.
Because you guys have the mechanic shop, tractor beam, meditation chamber. You guys went with the reactor. You guys didn't go with any kind of special scanner. But there is a scanner on board the ship. But you don't get any bonuses from it.
Nope, I don't get anything special on my side.
Okay.
Need to make sure of. Okay, so just do an intelligence check.
Yes, please. As your ship goes to do a scan on it.
Ooh. Oh,
A crit?
it took time. It took 20. Yeah, a crit.
Okay. What do you want to glean from this scan? What are you looking for in particular?
Ore and life. Organic life of some kind.
Okay.
Was there any kind of like metals, or is there like
Um,
a Minoc that's chilling on the thing?
no, you don't find any signs of life on the rock. It does have some metallic features. Some of it's exposed on the outside of the asteroid, but it's the ship is able to only identify so much of the like the scan only reveals so much. Um, but it does look like there is some metal on this tiny asteroid, but otherwise the rest of it is just um, rock.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. Raven, can you go and maneuver this thing um, using the hangar bay controls? I don't want this thing banging up a new ship.
Um, she gives a nod and will head down towards the hangar bay, and she heads over to the controls. You can see her at the controls. It's kind of uh like if you had like in a mechanic shop the controls to raise and lower the doors are usually like right there at the garage door. So you can see her as she's on the far side of the um, door opening from where you're seated at. She goes up to a control panel, and there's basically what looks like a a uh, a set of controls kind of pops down, and she controls the tractor beam. Um, she doesn't do a very good job, as it nearly crashes into the ship, but it leaves a small dent on the floor as the asteroid settles down as she puts it down. It rolls a little bit because it's a rounded rock, but eventually it finds a flat enough surface and it stops moving. Not finally, but like it tilts over a little bit. You hear some of the metal creaks a little bit. They're like, put that down a little bit harder than what she probably thought it would do. She touches one of the buttons on the panel and says, I I got it down. And she lets go of the button. You see she's kind of mumbling to herself. Visible from the cockpit, but she's mumbling to herself. What have I gotten myself into? Who are these people? I don't get paid enough. This is the first day, and I didn't even know these people for half an hour, and it's just, this is what the shenanigans.
Let's see. Okay.
But yeah, you now have. There is still enough room inside the hangar bay if you wanted to have a small spacecraft. There is it's a fairly good-sized hangar bay for such a small ship. But you do have a tiny asteroid now inside of your ship, with enough room for a like an X-wing, basically.
Cool. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I will start the astrogation
Okay.
for Hosnium Prime.
All right. You start putting in the calculations. Things are starting to line up. The kind of the little computer screen that's there for you is fairly. It's not exactly analog, where it's just a bunch of dials that you turn and buttons that you press. There is a screen and there is some interaction with the screen, but this is a fairly simple computer for being able to do hyper jumps. Go ahead and make an astrogation check for me as you're punching in the coordinates.
Actually,
And I don't remember exactly what the piloting deployment does for you. If that helps at all, if you get a bonus astrogation or not, I don't remember.
we're saying that the fuel cost is still this, like, it's gonna cost the same amount to get there, uh, you know, from hyperspace one way or another, right?
Mm. So there's Naboo. I can actually have Naboo and Hosnian Prime be visible within one screen here. So what we'll do is, this is really hard to calculate with fuel. Let's say each quadrant that you go through when you're looking at the galaxy map that I had pinned in our Discord chat. Um, each quadrant that you like travel completely through takes one fuel. So when you go to Naboo to Hosnian Prime, now depending upon the route that you take as well, um, so you would use up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll say 6 fuel to get to Hosnian Prime.
As I started thinking about it, and I was like, what if, and hold a little helpful thing here. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it would be helpful, but maybe.
If you want to try to save on fuel, um, I would say I can increase the difficulty to the astrogation check to get the Hosnian Prime. I guess first off, what's your planned route to do?
Actually, I have another.
Okay.
Honestly, I think what I should see if we can do is do an astrogation to Cytheria. And it's just a little past Yagdul on the thing. I get first off, let me go and talk to my person, my friend down in meditation, Aurora,
Mm-hmm.
and tell him my thoughts here before I just act on the sole person of a party of 4.
Mm-hmm.
I walk down to I stop my astrogation check and I walk down to the where I believe Aurora to be in the meditation chamber.
The
Aurora?
Mediterranean chamber.
Yeah, the Mediterranean chamber.
Yes.
All right.
It's
You.
gonna be nice sandy shore, some olive trees.
Mm-hmm. You see a room that there's a little red circle that's beside it, um, and it looks like a bedroom kind of thing. Um, what what do you do?
Wait, you said a little red, like a red door. You said, or
There's a door that you come across in what you think is a meditation chamber, um, and there's a red light that's beside the door.
um, is there a button next to the light, or is the light also a button?
Oh no, there's a button next to the light. There's also an unlit green light that is there, but the red light is lit up.
I run to press the button. Let's see with like a comms.
Mm-hmm. Aurora, a dimly lit light towards the door lights up a little bit, and it gets your attention. But it's not like enough to pull you out of whatever kind of meditation you're in, but you just become aware of the light turning on.
I'm gonna look up. Is it like see through? Or is it a completely closed off door? Like it's like a
It's
window
closed
or
off. This
anything?
is a meditation chamber. You're not to be
Alright, okay, yeah.
interrupted, basically. And this soft, unintrusive light kind of brightens for a little bit. You think
I'll
that
give
someone's
a.
trying to contact you without disturbing you.
I might get up reluctantly and walk to the door and open it.
Okay. You see your newfound friend and party member, Savaris, in front of you.
Say we have a problem.
No, but I have a plan. So we know that how our system works. This is a fresh, clean ship that we have, but it says that we come from Naboo. We know that the Naboo's kinda on the fence, or if already part of the rebellion at this current time. So what I'm thinking we need to do is travel to Thyferia. From there, we can gain some medical supplies and change our port of registry to Thyferia before we make it to Hosnian Prime.
You mean Typhera?
Thyferia. I always said it was Thyferia.
That's okay. I see where it's at on the
Thyferia.
map now. But
Yeah.
yeah, I see it.
Medical supplies
Um,
on Thyferia are pretty cheap in comparison. So we should be able to pick up a cheap supplies of like Bacta and other things, and take them to Hosnian. You even say it's part of a medical relief effort or something of the sort.
It's definitely not a bad idea. It's up to you. You're the pilot.
I don't want to just start doing things without everyone kind of have an idea. I know the poor Lucian's been all wiped out since we got to Naboo and all the different stuff, and that boring, terribly boring political debate that we're having. Open town hall bullcrap.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Definitely missed out on getting medical supplies back at the base.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, sorry to bother you while you were in meditation, but we haven't had a chance to go over this yet, so wanted to make sure that we were all on board before I just make a different decision. Okay, well,
Roger
have
that.
fun doing
That
whatever
I will.
you guys are doing in there. As I shut the door and head back to the astrogation check, I'll start inputting the coordinates for Typhera.
Okay. So, how do you plan to get from Naboo to Typhera? What is your planned route?
I was just kind of expecting to take the normal route, the normal hyperspace route.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I figured that would probably be the easiest. I don't remember. Isn't it where you have to technically you go to each space and then it recorrects, or how does that work?
So, um,
I mean, in the sense of the game, we just make it. It's a 10-minute thing, and because there's no actual problems, and we just leave. But
right. Unless if there is some kind of hiccup along the way, like for instance, like if you are trying to cross faction borders, or you're coming across like like let's say there's a you know that there's, or even if you don't know, but if there's like conflict that's happening inside the system where two sides are going at it, um, you're going to need to stop and assess the situation and calculate your jumps again, or try to flee, maybe turn around, or join in on the fight, those kinds of things. Because it would, your computer won't let you take the jump because it's too complicated or whatever. Um, but
so random encounters are really what's going to be
right.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Or so are we basing that as in there could be a potential that you're going to like roll a dice on each location we pass through?
I don't think so.
I
I
mean, it
would
wouldn't be a
just
bad
do an
idea,
encounter.
but
I would just do like a chance encounter, and it wouldn't just be like just like a like. It's not going to be every single planet, every single little thing. Um, oh, this happened, that happened, and then you would never get anywhere.
no, I was saying like it could be like I mean it would come up to you to make how it would work, but to give suggestions, you roll like a D100, and out of that D100, anything that's like uh 40 and below might be nothing happens and
Mm-hmm.
you pass on through. But then say like a certain number, it could be that there's a new gravitational spot. Maybe a moon was collided into something else, and because of that, the astrogation to that kind of fucked up and it tipped you out of
Mm-hmm.
hyperspace. Not saying that an encounter actually occurred, but it
Mm-hmm.
still changed how everything happened. Or like you said, there could be a fight that's going on, and because of
Mm-hmm.
the whatever, it pulls you in. Like that's why I was asking, did you want to do that as in like a dice roll that it happens, and is that going to be based on each system that you have to pass through on the way? Because I know you
Mm.
stated that we could cut through potentially and not use the hyperspace or the hyperlanes.
Mm-hmm.
essentially that's like the safest route. It's well known, and that's what's on our astrogation or
Mm-hmm.
navigation thing, which I think we have to update to, unless you're not playing with that ruling. It says something about updating the
Right.
astrogation.
Mm-hmm. No, let's not mess with that aspect right at this moment. But if something were to come up where, like later on, where we decide we want to include that in, we could definitely do so. But for right now, it's almost like it's a lot of details to remember all at once.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. So,
we can add those in as we go along. Um, but we'll say that at any point, so the in game, you do end up having to make basically the jump from sector to sector. Like you go from one dot to the next dot. Now, if there is no lines connecting, I'm looking at the map. If there's no lines connecting, like from if you want to go to Naboo to Alasa Major, that's a well-traveled route. It's not as well-traveled as like the route for Corellia or anything like that. That goes from Corellia to Coruscant all the way down to towards Sullust, and it passes right by Mustafar down there, and it's not like
where'd
the
you get a
one of the
loss of major?
major um, trade routes that runs from like north to south, but it's like one of the smaller ones. That's plausible. You can do that. Those little trade routes like that. The minor space lanes, basically.
Where'd you get Asa major? Where'd you get that at?
When I zoomed in pretty close on Naboo, it was just the next planet north.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
but
it
like
does say it's part of that major hyperlane.
if you wanted to go to the Carolinis, where there's no hyperlane there, like that could be quite a journey through there because there's no. It's like going down a gravel road. You don't really know what's going to come up and what's on the sides of the roads.
So would that be kind of like a subspace kind of travel, where we'd have to travel to that by
Mm,
subspace? And it
Not
doesn't like,
necessarily.
I know
Mm,
that there's places like
you
that, or like how they obviously for one he slow traveled to Bespin one time, but
right. Well, you
in the
remember in
Mandalorian they did it too.
yes, that was about the reference that in the Mandalorian they say like you can subspace travel, but you can come across some crazy stuff. Like he ended up on that one planet that had all ugh, the
Weird.
creepy white the creepy white spiders or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
hmm You can come across those if you're doing subspace travel out in the middle of, outer rim, or let alone in the um, unknown regions. Like if you go out to the unknown regions and you're doing that, you can find some crazy stuff.
I'm scared.
hmm
Uh,
You better be. You better be. Space is a scary place in this galaxy. You might even find Grand Admiral Thrawn out there. Just kidding. No, you
with a
won't.
whole dreadnought fleet. Oh no. Oh, on a side note, I went to a garage sale the other day and I picked up a ton of Star Wars books.
Oh,
Jedi Apprentice, I think one of the Admiral Thrawn books,
really?
a bunch of them. I think I spent $2. I got like a whole bag full of Star Wars books.
Steal, bro. That's a steal.
Yes,
You probably sell those for some good money.
probably won't
Maybe.
though.
Nah.
I'll just give you hints on what else to throw in here. Yeah. So astrogation check to Typheria.
Okay. Go ahead and do so.
Take the 10 minutes to do it properly.
Okay. Bip bop bitty boop. You
Yeah.
tap away on the thing, and what does the that what does it say in the game rules about taking the 10 minutes to do that?
It says that it would take 10 minutes to do the proper astrogation checks while you're not under duress.
Okay.
And that's why I stated the 10-minute time.
Mhm.
If you're under a state of duress, then you have to make the action
Mhm.
to try and do an astrogation check for one of the proper ones.
Okay.
And then you need
Sounds good.
so many astrogation checks. I can't
Right.
remember how many you
You have
need
to
before you can.
succeed or you fail, and it sets you back on your progress bar, basically.
Right. And you
Okay.
basically need so many of them to do a proper one, or else then you have to take like a what was it that um,
You roll on a
roll
table
for
to
doing it.
see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. So anyway,
Gotcha.
beep boop, click clack, pull a dial
Mhm. You
or a lever.
yeah, you pull a lever, you spin a little wheel, um you pop out a little
I
tube.
shut the bay doors.
Oh, yes, important. Yes, you shut the bay doors. Good. You have 10 minutes to notice this. You notice it. Um uh Raven kind of looks around and is like, "Hey, you gonna close those?" Oh, thanks. And you proceed to look for a little bit to find the button. It's part of the 10 minutes, don't worry. So yes,
Yeah, yeah.
you do take off for Typhera. You don't encounter anything too extravagant. You come across a lot of different planets, a lot of little different systems, kind of like driving down the interstate, seeing a town for, you know, Creek Road, and then you see another one for Red Barn, and there's other little backwater worlds. You're like, oh, that's cool. I haven't heard of that. Well, I've seen that place. And you bip bop your way to Typhera. Um, Approaching out of hyperspace, the system comes into view, and I need to, because somebody likes to be interesting with this. I need to look up what is Typhera. Typhera. You see us describing it as a terrestrial planet. It is. Oh, it is set up for. There isn't a whole lot of information there. But actually, let me go to Legends as opposed to Canon and get even more information. Ooh. Typhera is a hot and humid planet located in the Polar system, of which most of the galaxy's Bacta was produced. It's also a major political power, and Bacta production was an essential commodity. Alright. You come across a green, almost jungle-like planet that is Typhera once you enter into the system, into the Polis system. Um, you hear over the instruments that are inside the cockpit. There is a green pulsing light that is coming from the communication control.
um, I'll go. It's the comms or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Yeah, I'll activate the comms. This is
It,
the. Oh, sorry.
it says there is a kind of a young, fairly clean voice comes through the comms. Says unidentified vessel. You have entered the Polis system. You are entering our space. Um, who are you and what is your business?
The oldest system.
The Polith system. That is the system that Typhera is in.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Oldest system. This is the Broken Star. Currently on a relief aid expedition and inbound for an import of fresh medical supplies. Over.
Um, says, um, copy that. Go ahead and send your transponder code over to us on this comm, and we'll get you all checked out.
10 for Polar System. Go over to the computer to start the signal for my transponder code.
Okay. So we've received your transponder code. Give us a minute while we check everything out. And you hear he kind of sets the phone down, basically. Clack of putting it down for the moment. And about a minute or so later, says, Bogasar, this is Polar System Security. Everything clears out. You are cleared to approach the planet. Have a safe trip to the planet and enjoy the wildlife.
Polar System. Clearance for Hangar Bay. I didn't hear a clearance for Hangar Bay. Do you want me to wait in orbit until one opens up?
You hear him say, he's like, you're cleared to go to the planet. Beyond that, then you need to make contact with the dockyard.
Thank you. Over. All right, so I'm gonna get the ship into orbit around the planet and
Mm-hmm.
contact the planet, planet's local government.
um, the um, so you basically got clearance to go to the planet, but besides that, it's kind of like on this planet there isn't really it's not as formal as like Naboo where there's landing like strips and landing platforms. This is kind of like not definitely not a backwater planet because of the back to trade routes um, and the presence of so much trade with that. But a lot of that is kind of just assumed of like when you get close to the planet, you see a spot and then you land and then you pay. It's a little bit less formal.
Uh, Wait, sorry, I got a little distracted there.
You're
Computer.
good. It's this planet is a little bit. It's because it is a smaller planet. Even with the presence of like the trade route with the Bacta, it it's not as formal as like how Naboo is set up, but it is more or less like a you land in the or you basically you go to the parking lot and then you pay, that kind of deal.
Okay.
You pay
Okay. So
the landing fee.
right. I'm gonna go to the parking lot.
Pretty much. When you get closer to the planet, you see a variety of lighted up sectors of the planet where there's clearly cities everywhere. There's a pocketed area that has a bit more of the lights that kind of grabs your attention. Um, if you were to look up in your ship or like what's kind of common knowledge, um, there is a capital city named, oh my gosh, why is it such an ugly name? Ziaz Heizi? Oh my goodness. Um, is the capital city. This is stuff that your ship would know and like in its like um database. And it like will point it out to you on kind of where to land for the capital. I was like, hey, the capital is this way. This is where most people want to go.
Okay. Okay. I need to be in Legends. Is that where you're at?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yep. Oh, this system. I was still reading on the canon side of it.
Yeah, there's definitely not as
I'm
much.
so confused by
You're
some
good.
of the things we were going over.
You do see basically kind of like a little a landing platform that you see other ships landing to and taking off from um, this kind of like receiving area for other ships. Um, and you see that there's um, once again your comms channel button starts to light up again.
I go to activate comms.
Okay. It says, "Hey there, buddy. You wanna land that? You look a little lost. You wanna land that over here?"
What you charging?
Oh, guys, he bought it. Um, it's 200 credits if you would land at over at our place over here. You see that you're just kind of moving without a spot there.
Okay. Am I like seeing the indicator of where this person's talking about?
He says to you, he's like, "Here, we'll shoot you the place. Here, plug it in. Plug it. Here you go." And he like it's like the transmission will show you right where to land. Don't worry there, little buddy. We got you. And you see on your basically from your comms um, a a longitude latitude um, direction to go into land at. If you want to from the cockpit make like a just do an intelligence check to see if you can line up where the longitude latitude coordinates are and looking out the window to see if you can find it.
I think I'm just going to fly on and kind of scan for other locations, more
Okay.
more probably secure
Okay.
locations.
Here's a hey there, little buddy. You just passed by us. What did you? All right. And
and communication.
that's the last thing you hear is him like starts to chastise whoever was in the background.
uh, I'll be honest, we can do this as uh, in depth as you want. I know this isn't probably where you expected to go.
No.
This was more purely for literal supplies. Like
Uh-huh.
I've looked it up. I know that this is by this point in time this would be very basic knowledge of information by this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, yeah, it'd be good to have something weird for a freighter to be showing up.
Mm-hmm.
And at this
You're
point,
good.
especially with an asteroid inside of it, so
Yeah.
we're gonna either need supplies. One's peace, one's for one's for making peace, and one is for peace.
Right. Okay. You do end up getting hailed by another communication. This one is by um, basically kind of the main dockyard. It says, "Hey there, Broken Star. You looking for a landing platform?"
Yeah. What's your what's your price? What's your security like?
Uh,
I don't want no hack job trying to take my ship.
yes, of course, sir. Our security, it's all right. We're doing pretty good. He's like fairly like casual about the whole conversation. He's like, yeah, it's pretty all right. Um, we haven't had anybody steal any ships. It's fairly peaceful around here. We haven't had too much crime. Mostly because everybody's health is really good with all the Pacta here, so people don't stress out as much when they're healthy and they can make a good living. So you don't the security doesn't have to be over the top. I mean, it can be if you want it to be, but that it would increase the pay rate. But otherwise, we just pay like 100 credits to land, and then it's 20 a day that you're here. You kind of get the idea that this guy is like kind of a rambler, and that he's maybe a little bit too trusting.
Okay, I think we've got ourselves a
No,
deal.
no need for an insight check. This is fairly obvious.
Yeah, it's very, very obvious
Mm-hmm.
that, and I feel like I have the confidence that my done. They need to.
Okay. Um, he sends you the directions basically to land, lining up the coordinates with how it looks like on the cityscape. It looks to be, I mean, you don't know if there is even a bad part of town or if there's a sketchy part of town, but it looks like everywhere else really. Um, and it's a fairly clean platform that you can bring the ship down on. I would say because you're already an established pilot, that landing the ship is no problem. But I'll have you make I don't know what kind of check that would be. If that would be like basically flying.
Piloting?
Pilot, it'd be yeah. Go ahead and make a piloting check for me as you go
As
to
a
land the
person?
ship for the first time. As a person, yes. 18. You land that ship down perfectly. There's no problems whatsoever. Nice and soft. You don't damage anything. You don't bump into anything. Um, it's a pretty standard landing made by a pretty good pilot that didn't have any obstacles in the way. It's like pulling into a parking spot at Walmart with nobody around you. No problems between the lines, day in, day
Hey,
out.
some people can't do that.
That's why I had to make the check. Um, and plus, being that you'd never flown this particular ship before, it could be a little awkward shaped. But yes, you land on the landing platform. A couple of gentlemen and a lady come out to greet you. Um, the two gentlemen are armed and they kind of stand at the flanks of the ship, and the young lady comes out to greet you. And she's kind of patiently waiting outside the ship, looking at it. It's kind of like, okay, interesting. You can see her from the pilot seat.
Okay. I want to go. Raven, you should probably go and let Aurora know that we've landed on Typhoria.
Okay.
And I'm going to get out of the cockpit and go and greet our guests over at the. Are we assuming that we're using the hangar bay, or is there another?
No, this is just
There's
an
another hatch.
open landing platform that's located kind of towards the edge of the city.
No, I meant like how we're getting out of the ship. Do we get
Oh,
out of the ship? Do we get out of the ship at the hangar bay, or do we, or that our
yes.
hangar bay, or do we get out of our ship somewhere else?
It's from the hangar bay. There's
Okay.
pretty much there's just one major opening in the front. That's the hangar bay. There isn't really too much else room for another entrance because of how big the hangar bay is. Once again, Aurora, a dimly lit light pops up again inside of your room, signaling
As
that
I
someone's trying to
felt
get
us
your attention.
landing, I would assume that it's time to go, so I'm gonna exit the room.
Mm-hmm. You see Raven standing there, having just pressed the button. Says, "Well, we've made it to Typhera for whatever reason you guys wanted to come here for. Silver's wanted me to get you and let you know. I'll stay here with the ship and make sure um, nothing goes missing. Um,
Sounds
even
good.
even on these safer planets, there's still slimy people out there. Gotta be careful. Watch your back out there." And she
Thank
like
you.
steps back and heads towards the hangar bay.
If I'll head on to where Solaris is.
Towards the hangar bay as well.
Yeah.
So you end up following her. She turns
This is
around, says,
awkward.
You're not supposed to wash my back."
But I can't help myself.
Alrighty. You are both now in the hangar bay. Raven takes a corner and is up on the railing, um, engineering platform. Just kind of looking at the asteroid whimsically, kind of like, well, what in the world is this thing doing in here?
Okay, so I'm gonna go and open up the if we have included that it isn't, I'm gonna open up the hangar bay door,
Okay, it opens.
blast door,
Mm-hmm.
and go down to greet or go to greet our um, recipients.
Mm-hmm.
I have to pay to stay here. The parking police.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much, yeah. So you
Yeah.
I'll
can.
follow behind him.
Okay. What were you gonna say there,
Hi,
Zach?
yes, I wanted to just make sure that we got ourselves situated. We're just going to be in and out real quick. We need to pick up some extra supplies before we head on. And can we change our board of registry since we're here?
Um, yes, of course. Um, and she has her own little device with her, and she it taps away on it a little bit. Um, were you here to look at the extravagant wildlife? Are you here to just visiting, or were you looking to maybe trade something? I don't know what you're doing with that big rock, but it is quite interesting. I've never seen anybody. And she kind of smiles to herself and she looks down at the ground. She's like, I've never seen anybody carry a big rock in their ship before. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, we're interesting traders. We give unique items to people. That's actually to a client. I don't exactly know why he wants it the way it is, but uh, I don't ask the questions when you get paid. But I do need to pick up more supplies for another run that we have going on right now. Someone asked for a bunch of materials, and I figured this would be the best spot to come and get it.
Then you must be talking about getting some Bacta, some healing Bacta.
As well as uh, metal plating or wiring as well, but
Mm.
mainly yes, back to.
Well, good news. You are located in one of the closest landing platforms to being able to purchase one of those or some of those, um, and we can I can maybe direct you towards some of the other items that you're wishing. Um, if you want, we could go and we could buy these materials for you. He would bring you back with the bill.
I would have to see what your prices are. It may be
Okay.
easier for my colleague and I to go and acquire these as well. Sorry, but we don't want to waste your time if it's going to be of any trouble.
Well, how much Bacta are you planning on buying?
Uh, is there actually a thing? I didn't really look into this. I was thinking
Like,
like
are you looking to get
almost like
like
a
several like
magic.
containers worth, like cargo, like shipping containers worth of Bacta, or are you looking to get like just some like personal use, like one-time use Bacta, like basically like healing potion, like size of Bacta, or
A bunch of individual units, personal units.
okay. Are you talking like a shopping cart amount, or are you talking like
Probably
uh,
like a couple pallets, but it depends on the price. That's what I was looking for. Obviously,
okay.
we don't have an actual like amount. Like I don't think we have a currency, but I was also trying to look up to see like if it comes up in the SW5E or something. See that I don't know if it will.
Hmm. There's a back to pack. Um, I don't, I don't, I don't know. Um, there's just,
Tech power back to pack.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's the only thing that's
You have
popping
to
up
use
for
your
me.
imagination.
Yeah, well, that's all it's going to
Imagination.
have to be at
Ooh,
this point.
I hate imagination.
The
Think of
base
it
kind of
like,
word.
oh, I would think of it kind of um, like it doesn't have to just be back to. It
Life
could be like
support?
a first aid kit or something like med kits or something like that. Kind of like from Apex or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just
Um,
it's small supplies, but a large quantity of them. So it looks like we're
mm-hmm. I'm just looking under, I looked under loot and then adventuring gear, and I'm just scrolling through that at the moment. Um, nope. I see life support, but alcoholic beverage? Nope.
a whole category
Medical.
for life support.
Medical. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. A med pack. There's a trauma kit as well. Okay, let's see here. Med pack. Quick acting syringe filled with concentrated dose of colto. You can use this med pack to restore hit points to a beast or humanoid within 5 feet. Creature rolls 1 die equal to the size of their hit dice and regains hit points equal to the amount rolled plus Constitution mod. Okay. And the trauma kit has 5 uses. Expend the use the kit. The creature has 0 hit points. Okay, so it can be put back to 0. So what we can rule is that this med pack is a quick acting syringe filled with a concentrated dose. We would say you can have a Bacta med pack that would work as a um, basically along the same lines. It's just a flavor text med pack.
Okay, yeah, that's fine with me.
Mm-hmm. So you can buy med packs here. They are. It says here that they cost 300 credits and they weigh half a pound. We'll run with that.
Well, 300 credits.
Mm-hmm.
300 per. Okay.
Yep, a piece. And um, but I will say this. Because of the location that you're in, the price is cheaper because they literally make it here. This is like literally the place to go to get backed up. I would say like it'd be as you're buying it from a wholesale store as opposed to going to like some kind of bougie like place. I almost said a place like bougie like Target. Okay. Um, like if you were to go to, I don't even like if you were to go to you were to go to a Louis Vuitton place to buy a handbag. You know, that's like the most expensive place you can go for just a piece of leather held by stitching and then a rope that goes around it so you can hold it by your shoulder. Like this is like going to the place that actually makes the bags. So this is like going to the as opposed to going to the hospital to get the medicine, you're literally going to the place where they make the medicine. So we'll say the price is only 200 credits per med pack.
Okay. Um,
And we'll just say at this time too, you pay the 100 for staying at the dockyard for landing.
so yeah.
100 for landing. Which now that
and
you think
pay
about
them
it,
for not being
the
able to do
first
great.
the first communication that came through was definitely ripping you off.
Yes. Yes. I'm sure it was. It also sounded like there was going to be a problem when I landed. And I was like, yeah, no, I didn't come here to start a conflict right away. I just came here to pick up supplies. um, yeah, I think I will take you up on your offer. You're saying that these Bacta kits cost about 200.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think what I'll do is I will pick up 26 of them.
Okay. You're taking up on her offer of bringing them to you?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'll say I'd like to get another 3.
We'll
Okay.
get 29.
29 back to med packs.
Yes.
She will charge 10 credits to go run and get them for you.
Okay. Alright.
Got that stuff added in on your. I mean, at the moment they're in your character's inventory, but like, that's quite a bit of back to packs to carry around with you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no. Honestly, that was really all I needed from this place. So
Mm-hmm.
when they come back, we can just go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, unless
Yeah, I
it's
don't need
gonna take
anything.
some time for them to change my port of registry.
Yeah, they had already filled all that out.
Yeah. Okay.
They updated your stuff. Kind of like
So,
how.
what's gonna be the role on the Bacta?
So it says you can use the med pack to restore hit points to a beast or humanoid within 5 feet, including yourself. So, or that can include yourself.
Equal to the amount rolled plus their Constitution modifier, minimum
Mm-hmm.
of one hit point.
What's the
Yep.
amount? What's the role? Like a 1D
It's
what?
whatever your hit die is.
Whatever my hit die is. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I got you.
So I think
Plus
for you it
Constitution.
should be a D10. So you roll a
For me,
D10
it's a
plus your
D8.
con. What's a D8? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it would be a D8 plus your con modifier.
All right.
And it
I only
does
have it
not
as 12.
cost.
Does that mean it's a D12? Or that I have 12?
Yeah, you're a fighter,
You're.
so yeah, makes sense.
Let's see.
Yeah, 1D12.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Your hit
So
die
yeah,
should be a D10 rebel. I just looked on the thing. If you're a fighter, it's a D10. The only
mm-hmm.
one with a D12 was the berserker.
Yeah, like the barbarian. Yeah, D10. Cool. I'm ready.
Okay. Yeah, so we gained the items. I didn't put it into my
Yep, add it
backpack, but
into your inventory.
20
And then however
26.
many you want to like keep on the ship as opposed to like keeping on your person, you can add that to the ship's inventory.
So you mind if I hold a few of those? You got a lot.
That I do. And I will hand him 2 of them. The rest of these are going to be used, and I put up in quotations, as a goodwill of aid when we get to Osnian Prime. But when we really get there, we're going to sell these things for 350 a pop to people in need.
Yeah, you could do that.
No, I just thought about that. I think that would be hilarious, but no. Um,
Y- Yeah, you guys could. I mean, if you guys want to become back to traders, I mean, yeah. You certainly have the perfect ship to be able to transport large quantities of items. You have an asteroid inside of your ship right now. Like if you wanted to
Come at me,
transport
fool.
stuff, you certainly can.
Okay, so we're gonna get
Okay.
back into the ship.
Mhm.
Uh, hopefully we can.
Remember to deduct. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3. We'll go 4 fuel
Or fuel.
from your ship's reservoir.
Yep, just did it. We
They
were at 25 before.
they do offer refueling as well if you wanted to tap off your ship. This is a nicer landing platform. Other ones, like maybe what the one that first communication came through, maybe wouldn't have fuel, or if they did, they might charge a lot. But the most nicer platforms in more established cities are always going to have like some kind of refueling um, option, and then they'll charge you off of that.
Um, I can
This would
imagine that we could use that, but what's the what's the price of units?
price
Or
of
that we're
units.
going
I
with it.
remember we had that question. I'm gonna look
Obviously,
up.
we have fuel amount, and I was able to change the one
Mm-hmm.
we had. We're
Fuel
gonna have to pay for
usage.
gas even in our game, bro.
Mm-hmm. Fuel
As
usage.
he's doing this,
Stuff.
I'm gonna return to the ship and grab just some food out of the storage to go feed Fenrir.
Oh, hey man, careful of the rock.
Oh, I see it. Very curious why you decided to grab this.
It was more of a test than anything.
A test that risked your lives. What if it went bad?
Dude, they've got all these prostheses in here too. Like, so if you lose an arm
Mm-hmm.
or some shit, I
Yes.
love that. Because obviously, like, you know, obviously they would, but
Uh-huh.
when I hear those like stories about D&D characters that are like paralyzed or like quadriplegic, and then like they'll be
Mm-hmm.
like, I just cast cure on them or heal wounds.
Right?
And
Yeah.
in Star Wars, they're like, no, 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 you lost an arm, bro. Go and get a, you better go get a
Mm-hmm.
robotic arm.
Dude, we
You're
were
gonna
we were
have
just
to.
talking about a rock, and now you're talking about prosthetics and D&D. What is that?
Who are you talking to? Oh, you're talking to the voice from above. Oh, okay.
Just
No,
Talking
I
to the
talking
say
to
that
the
because
Force.
computer. I'm
literally
just
Ta-
we were having a
talking to the
conversation, and
computer.
then all of a sudden he just breaks away from the conversation and starts talking out of character. And I'm like,
You didn't hear that? Hmm.
the fourth wall. It breaks. Alright. I'm not seeing that cost for fuel again. I'm not seeing it. Fuel
You
usage?
don't you don't hear that?
hear
It's
what?
Travel pace. Turning speed.
travel pace, turning speed. You don't hear this? I don't understand what is going on. I tried to talk to it, but
Pay no attention to the man
Are
behind the
you okay?
microphone. Someone's leaning on the mic.
oh,
I'm gonna
sorry, there's someone
continue
on the mic.
walking away with a slightly disturbed look on my face.
so I'm gonna in these shut the door. Click, click, click.
Here we go, refitting. Nope. Man, I remember seeing it too. Like,
See, there's refitting and recharging.
refueling. There it is. Under equipment. That's why I wasn't finding it. So, Starships of the Galaxy Equipment, Chapter 5. Refueling and restocking. So, for a medium, it's 100 credits per unit.
Yeah, I don't see why I couldn't top it off there. Give you
Okay.
900 credits.
Alrighty. It takes a little while to put that much fuel into the ship, so you have some time here while on the planet. It's fairly temperate, slightly jungle. There's wildlife and birds that are flying around. The general like architect is it's by no means like an ecumenopolis where there's the whole planet is a city, but this city is fairly like compact. Like there's a lot of people living in a small area. Um,
Um, what's the ETA on that? You said it's going to take some time.
takes about an hour or so.
If anything, probably I would keep the probably hangar bay door open, but the field on
Okay.
to the ship, so that way I kind of
Mhm.
see out, enjoy the scenery as I inspect the meteor for
Mhm.
those parts of metal and stuff like that.
Yeah. As you look out from the hangar bay, you see the two moons that are going around the planet. You can see them from the hangar bay. Um, it's it's kind of peaceful at the moment. The kind of the craziness that you had just a couple days ago seems to have just, oh, that was all the way over there. We don't have to worry about that anymore. We're over here. Thoughts of like becoming a backed trader kind of start to go through your mind as you're looking through the asteroid. What are you looking for when you're looking at the asteroid?
Those those like metal bits that I saw on the asteroid itself.
Yeah, the
Probably a
top
raw
part.
ore or whatever.
Yeah, the top part. There's like a tip of it that's like rounded off that is shiny as a part of the rest of the um, asteroid is like dirt, or not dirt, but like stone, basically. Rock.
Okay. I guess noting, noting and inspecting the rock. taking that small amount of time.
Mhm.
I'll just kind of go around to some of the other instruments, looking at the mechanic shops,
Okay.
tools, and basic layout.
Yeah.
Um,
As you go through the mechanic shops area, you see a wide variety of tools that look like could repair the ship. It looks like you could repair the ship itself with the tools that are all here. Um, and go ahead as you're kind of looking across everything. Go ahead and make a technology check for me. 20. You see um, on one of the kind of little bench areas, probably about mm, like 3/8 of an astromech droid, like taken apart, disassembled. There's about 3/8 of a component of the components for an astromech droid. Like you see like a shell that's like whitish gray, and you see like a motor, and that's like about it. But it's a disassembled astromech droid just on one of the tables.
I'll take a look at it. Um,
What would you like to glean from it when you look at it?
does it still have its like battery? It's got to have like a charging station or a battery or something
Mm-hmm.
that would normally keep it alive.
Right. You see that it's really just the shell and an electric motor. That's all that's left of it. There's not really a whole lot to it. You think if you found enough pieces that, this would be like you could make your own astromech if you could put it together. If you got enough pieces, you could put it together. Or if you had one, you could use these pieces to replace it with. Like I said, you basically get the starts of an astromech droid in there, but there's nothing really much in there.
If you don't mind, we can take a moment and look at Astromechs. There's Okay. So I guess what first off, can I glean what kind of shell, or can I glean more information to do another check if necessary? 'Cause I'm probably not super proficient, but
You can
what
go ahead and
series?
make another technology check, or maybe make a lore check. Okay. Um,
Let's
basically,
go.
um, this the body is basic enough that if you wanted to make it, it's like it looks like an R2D2 shell, um, but it it could really be modified into whatever. It looks like you could change this body into however you wanted it to be.
Okay. Reason I was looking at, because I did see that the difference between a C1 R2 and a BB series astromech.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure if we're going by Star Wars, the R2 is the basic, R2D2
Mm-hmm.
one. BB would be like the BB-8, and then the C1 I think is that weird little thing that was on a wheel, one singular wheel. I
Oh,
see it at
is
the
that what
see
it
it in
is?
I don't know. I thought that was a C1, but I can't remember what the hell they. You know
I
what I
don't
mean?
know either. Well, let's look it up. Ba-ba-da-da-da. To the Wookiee Mobile. Ah, okay. It's um let's see. They were used during the Clone Wars and the Reign of the Galactic Empire. Yada yada. It just looks like it's a smaller version of a R2 unit. Um, there was a droid named Chopper.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. He was a C1. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's basically just another version of him.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was
But yeah,
also
this
like
is
R3 and R4, but there was also and they call that one R2. So
mm-hmm.
anyway, you say it's a basic astromech for an R2 series, just
Yeah.
a shell and a motor.
Mm-hmm. So if you wanted to put any kind of if you wanted to make your own, you could throw in whatever kind of computer you wanted in there. You could throw in any kind of um you wanted to throw in any kind of basically processor in there. You could do that. I don't know what all the parts are necessarily to a droid.
I think that's something you're gonna have to probably come up with on your own. I don't think that's. I think that's something that you and either the artificer or constructor or whatever, however you would do that.
Let's
Do.
consult the dusty book. Ah, ancient knowledge. From a galaxy far, far away. Droids. Droid classifications. Droid characters. Droid limitations. Personalities. Programming and equipment. There's droid maintenance. Droid repair. Modifying droids. Accessories. Droid death. Memory wipes. You can add a flamethrower to it. Okay. So yeah. If you wanted to basically modify it, you would add in all of its parts, like a comm link, electroshock probes, remote processor, repulsor lifts, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I've got an idea, but we'll have to build the thing first before
Yes.
we go on to my idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
Ooh.
I will tailgate, or I will back burner that for now. Although that is a very interesting,
Yeah.
interesting thing to note over here in the mechanics and or in the instruments section.
Oh, that was just in the cannons tab. What about legends? Oh, nice. A lot simpler. A lot simplified.
I'm gonna be in the back playing Requiem by Mozart on my flute.
Oh, really? Not if it's copyright. Just kidding. It's Mozart. Okay. So yeah, your ship has been refueled by the time that you're kind of putzing around in the hangar bay, looking over stuff, and Aurora feels like they get in a good practice session on the flute. Yeah, your ship is ready to go and all fueled up. You can top off your fuel units that you have on your ship. I see you've already done that. Nice. Um, yeah. If you, like I said, for the ship, you can add items underneath the equipment. You add in those back to things if you so wish. The back to med packs.
Yeah, I'm gonna deposit. Where did I put them? I'm gonna deposit 20 of them into. Do we have like storage compartments or something?
Um, there are some storage compartments that are um, inside the ship besides the hangar bay, but really the hangar bay is the main storage place. There are some like crates that have food in them, but there isn't really too much storage besides like utility closets on the ship. It really seems like the storage area for the ship is the hangar bay as well.
Um, okay. I guess what I'll do is I'll put them all into. No, I'll just put them into the
Crack
container.
open the asteroid and throw them in the asteroid.
The astromech is a storage container. It technically does have an inventory, so
Um, yeah, yeah. Can it fit all of them?
no.
Fine.
You can't fit 29 of them in there. If you want to put one in there, it would fit one.
Uh, I'll be honest. My first thought, and it would probably just be more chaotic, was to go put them all in the meditation chamber
you
because
you
I don't
definitely
know what.
can. You can put them in an empty meditation chamber. You can do
Put
that
them
if you
in your
want.
room.
It's our room.
Yeah,
We
but
all
I'm
have
not
the
staying
same
in there,
room.
so I, my room is basically the meditation chamber.
And I
Mhm.
just think a meditation chamber is just like this big empty room.
Pretty much. A room with a table in it.
And 20
That's
med
a lot
packs.
on the table.
Mhm.
Oh, 20 med packs on the table.
You're like Skyrim when you want to decorate your house. You stack them all up individually, and then when you
Makes a perfect triangle.
reload into the house, they all just, poof, just flutter
You
everywhere.
fly all over the place like a shotgun.
Yes.
Uh, so yeah, I'll put them into a storage in the hangar bay. So the hangar bay is the
Mhm.
most amount of storage. So I'll just set them up into like a next to or under. The crates are full of food.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll just store them next to the food. I was gonna,
Okay.
I was
Yeah,
gonna make it like more complicated than it needed to be, but it doesn't need to be.
that's
So,
all right. Yeah. So basically, when you guys are ready to go, your ship's been topped off in fuel. You guys got your trade done. Make sure you keep track of how much you bought those for, and the actual like the the because the value at which you buy like that the product is going to fluctuate a little bit. Like if you're in a war torn planet and you have back to med packs on you, they are instantly worth a whole lot more because people really need them, as opposed to a really peaceful world where there's nothing bad ever happens. Like Naboo, nothing ever bad happens at Naboo. They don't really need them all that much. But and then at a place that they literally make the stuff at is going to be pretty cheap. So um, prices do kind of fluctuate with the times. Um, but make sure you keep track of how much you paid them for. So that way I mean, I guess that's just me kind of telling you what to do, but so you can see how much profit you made off of them if you do decide to sell them. It does take an action to use one of them though, so just so you know, just like a potion takes an action. Unless if you're cool, then it takes a bonus action. But for now, these take an action. We'll say they just take a little while to actually apply and for the healing to actually take an effect.
Yes, yes. Okay, so I radio into.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't say there was really any kind of control. It was kind of you just kind of land.
Yeah,
So,
there was just kind of people calling you in. So you can take off kind of whenever you want.
all right. So yeah, I'm gonna power up
Mm-hmm.
the engines or turn everything on.
Yep.
Power up.
Takes about a minute or so. Ship powers up just fine. No problems.
Okay.
There is actually a procedure if you want to do a cold start.
I thought so, so that was why I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be sure. I was like, I don't know
Yeah.
how this is gonna turn out, but I feel like if I just said, "Oh, I'm gonna just fly away," you're gonna
Uh,
be like,
Sucker.
"You fool! You didn't follow protocol."
Yeah, you didn't
Um,
prime the engine, you didn't set the choke. Sorry, bud, didn't start that time. I'll make that sound like the Millennium Falcon made on Hoth. That's exactly what that is too.
Yeah,
Now
I mean,
that's a
cold.
cold start right there.
Yeah, that cold ass planet trying to get it back on. It's like trying to start a diesel in the middle of winter without glow plugs. Um,
Oh man, my diesel turned to gel. Who put number one in this time? Supposed to use number
so
two.
anyway, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
take off and enter into orbit,
Mm-hmm.
a light orbit over the planet, um, and begin astrogation checks for Hasnium Prime.
Mm-hmm. And once again, the control, basically the space station control, whatever. The same guy says, "Ah, yes, the Broken Star. Hope you had a good time here. Have a safe travel. You are clear to Sector C2 and safe travels."
Okay. Yep. Roger that. Activate comms. Roger that. Thank you. Control. Over and out. And I'll start. Make sure the doors are shut. Go through future.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I
Yeah,
don't
you're
think I
good.
technically did that. I left the field open or the field on, but
That's okay.
close doors, do the astrogation checks. Takes
Okay,
about what you say, 10 minutes.
about 10 minutes.
Um,
Everything looks like they've been input properly.
yeah.
There it
All right.
is. For Osmium Prime?
For Hosnian Prime.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to go too off script, but then I started thinking about it, and I was like, I feel like it's gonna be bad coming from Naboo.
Mm-hmm.
Brand new ship, brand new everything, transponder code, registry, one space, Naboo. I
Mm-hmm.
don't. We just talked about it. It's just becoming part of the new of this republic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a good idea going to Hosnian Prime with with Naboo on the registry.
Mm. Yeah. Alright, let's see here. Why is this not... Oh, my computer decided to... It just decided to not at this time. It has decided to no. What is your... Okay, cannot connect to the network. Fine. What is your plan on getting to Hosnian Prime? Which way are you going? Are you going the way of Fondor? Or are you going on the way of Yagdul, which for some reason clicks in my brain, but I don't know what I know that from.
Hmm.
Maybe I'll look it up while you think about your trajectory.
Well, we already came from Yagdul once. I guess it might just be nicer to keep the change of pace and go towards Bondor.
Okay. You can do that. Yeah, I don't know why I feel like I remember. It's probably because of the Yuzan Vong. Um, I forget what was that the new Jedi Order that mentioned the Yuzong Vong? I think that's where I'm seeing that from. I think it mentions that planet. Huh. Anyway, so you're going the way of Fondor. So you're looking at one, two. We'll say 3 units of fuel if you're going by the way of Fondor. Say it uses 3 units. Right? 1, 2. Yeah, we'll say it uses 3.
Okay.
Through this, will we gain the effects of a long rest?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I should probably, in quotes, eat as well.
Um,
I'm
yeah,
sure my
you
character
could eat
hasn't.
we'll say like each unit of food is considered like a 1 day's worth of food for each person. So you could.
Yeah, how many days has it been? Because technically, our flight and all that, it would take a while to even get to some of these locations the way we were. I know we shortened up the hyperspace travel to us getting to each, or from point A to point B,
Mm-hmm.
but
But
in
the actual
reality,
time.
yeah, in reality, it's actually been like days, if not maybe even a week, based on your, if you're going based
Um,
on the roll 20 or the SW5E like flight thing.
I'm not really sure how long. I have to look a little bit more into that, into like, because it's really handy these grid squares to like how far to travel, and I do like using that, like the one grid square of travel takes a unit of fuel. I don't know how accurate that is or anything, but it works out really nice. Um, but the for food and like time traveled, how much time spent traveling, I'm
There
not
was
sure
a
how to calculate that. I know there was the table. It's the same table that's in the book, but that would have that would mean like you've spent all of like probably a day traveling that you guys have done so far. It doesn't do a super great job of calculating like, oh, if you go from the outer rim to the deep core, it takes like 72 hours. It depends on what part of the deep core you're in. And what if you're traveling from the outer rim, like the northernmost part of the outer rim to the southernmost part of the outer rim? It doesn't say anything about that. So I'm like, I don't know how to calculate how much time is.
mm, it does it based on the rims. That
Yeah,
doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you think
I
about the
know.
fact that it's an elliptical
Mm-hmm.
location. If you have to get to one side or the other of it.
Yeah, I know.
I do know
You
there's like
could
the
go
whole
like every
Galactic
2
Day.
squares is a day or something like that.
There's
Uh,
supposed to be a point to having the um, hyperdrives being as fast as they are.
mm-hmm.
You know, or else why make a whole thing about why the hyperdrives work better, or like if having a secondary even does anything. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
all you need to do is just get the point A to point B and it all counts as one singular time, there would be no reason to get a tier 4 hyperdrive at all. You can just have like a 15 and just be like, yeah, I can keep the cheap one and get there no problem. Be fast
Mm-hmm.
traveling without an issue. But at the same time, that's a like you said a difficult concept to
Here we go.
come from.
Traveling to. Oh wait, nope. That's the difficulty. That's the difficulty. Let me go to the next page. Here we go. Traveling to base travel time in hours. If you want to go from the outer rim to the deep core, it takes 144 hours. But it doesn't say if you want to go from the outer rim to the outer rim, it says 48 hours. So I'm like, what does that even mean?
Well, it's probably just meaning inside of the same rim, probably like the same. At that point, you probably just assume it as like the same sector.
Well, the sectors are different.
So on the map, it shows like
Mm-hmm.
it shows the squiggle
Yeah, the gray, the
through the
light
mid
gray.
core, and like you can see where they're at. I'm thinking they're just saying like if you're traveling from one part of it, like I was gonna say like a 45-degree arc.
Mm-hmm.
If you're traveling within that 45-degree arc, it's gonna take about that amount of time. If you need to go from the middle of that into the outer rim, it's gonna cost you. It's gonna take longer because you have to make all the necessary travel to get through all those locations to get to maybe the main hyperlanes to get out onto those into that area.
Mm-hmm.
But I also understand that if I'm like right at the location next to the outer rim, it doesn't make a whole lot of logical sense where it takes even longer for me to get there than,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I think that would just be more of up to location.
Right.
So you said you like
Location.
going the fuel price based on square, so
Mm-hmm.
maybe just find out how long you want it to be within each square, and that will give us an idea of
Yeah.
how to decide it, whether it be a couple of hours,
Mm-hmm.
and then make that as a standard for the base hyperdrive, which say the slowest one is a 15,
Mm-hmm.
so the median would be about 7 or 8,
Right,
one of
and you
those
guys
two
have a
locations.
4.
Right. So we'd have to say that's twice the speed of whatever the standard would be then.
Mm-hmm. It's something like that. Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure at the
That
moment.
we can figure that out later.
Mm-hmm.
We know that it takes some time. It's been a long rest.
Mm-hmm.
Going to Hosnian. We can figure out the star date
Right.
when we uh,
Yeah,
when
exactly.
we get the crew all together. How about that?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, um, you don't have any problems. You get to. You said you were going away at Fundor, so we were using up 3 units. Just before you end up getting to Hosnium Prime. Let's just say it's like right before then. Let's go with. Is there a? That's not actually not on the trade route. Before reaching Hosnium Prime, let's just use. There's that one place that Gan Deal. That Gan Deal system right before Hosnium Prime. Do you see it?
Yes. Yep. Let's zoom in.
When you drop out of hyperspace, to make your final calculation to get to Hosnium Prime, immediately dropping out of hyperspace, not even like basically as you drop out in the there's like only certain spots that you can jump from hyperspace, like jump into those kinds of speeds. I forget what they call them. Like there's only certain areas at which you can, because of the gravity of the planets and everything into the stars. There is a first thing you see is there is a Nebulon. There's there's one Nebulon B and 2 CR90s with a couple of X-Wings. And an A-Wing. There's 3 X-Wings actually. Let me I'm blowing this up on the map right now. Roll 20. I just need to adjust it a little bit.
Aurora. I gotta hit the communications, or the internal ship communications.
Mm-hmm.
Aurora to the cockpit.
I'll make my way there after hearing that.
Oh boy.
You guys aren't necessarily right where I've got the broken star at. You can kind of place you guys wherever you want to be at, pretty much. It's just where I had it left from last time.
Preferably. I was gonna say, right there, if I came out of hyperspace right next to that, I'd be taking evasive maneuvers.
You're fine. Wherever you want it to be at.
Just put it like here. Still probably pretty close. Definitely within like weapons range, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Aurora, we have an unidentified fleet. It looks like it's a rebellion fleet by design, but that's a lot of firepower.
What's your plan?
See if they're even fly casual. I don't know. Try and make the astrogation check here soon.
You see
What is the astrogation check?
Someone's got to check the astrogate or the navigation. Someone's got to calculate the stuff.
Mm-hmm. You see the comms light up again.
You hit it. I don't know if I want to do this.
You're the pilot, sir. And I walk and go sit down.
Okay, I hit the comms button.
Unidentified vessel. This is Rebellion Forces at checkpoint Zeta 3. You are entering restricted space. Transmit your identification codes and state your business, please.
Rebellion checkpoint Zeta. This is Broken Star on a passive mission to Hosnian Prime to deliver medical supplies. Giving transponder codes now. Start entering the command.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Broken Star. Please continue on current. What's the word I want to use here? Trajectory. Please continue on current trajectory. Any deviation from said trajectory will be. Gosh, I'm getting tired. It's already 3 o'clock. Will be met with force. I think it's yeah. Some time passes, about a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. You see, let's see here. Broken Star, your clearance checks out. But we're gonna need to do an inspection before you proceed to deliver your medical supplies. Prepare for a visual scan. And the comlink once again goes silent for a little ways. The the scan completes, and he says, Broken Star, this is Rebellion Police from Zeta 3. We've completed your visual scan, but we do, under standard protocol, need to go underneath a inspection procedure. We need you to lower your shields, reduce your speed, and prepare for boarding. And some of our crew will do a thorough investigation inside of your ship.
10-4. Got nothing to hide.
Thank you, Broken Star, for your cooperation. We will be sending over a shuttle shortly. And the comm link cuts off. About a minute or so later, you see a small. It comes from the Nebulon B, but it's not the Gazanti. It's not the Pelta. It's not a CR, not a GR-75, but it's like a troop transport that floats towards you, and they basically they have their own kind of docking thing that they get to, and they have their basically their door opens, and you see wearing spacesuits and weapons exit out of the ship onto your front platform, and they wait for you to open your door.
Okay, so we'll open the door. Keep the. But I still need the stasis field on, right? Yeah, that's what keeps the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously. So yeah, go ahead and open up the door for him.
Okay. The first thing they see is the asteroid, and they like you see one of them goes through and like they write something down on a piece of paper basically, as they finish getting inside of the hangar bay, um, and they remove their helmets and whatever, and it's a little bit of a variety of aliens that are um, that have boarded onto your ship, and they say, um, "Who is the captain here?"
Well, I guess it's me by default.
Okay.
Would be
Um,
you?
what's up with the rock? And you see some of um, the other people that came with this guy who's seemingly in charge, the guy who's asking the question. Um, he is a like he's not what is it? He's the species that Darth Maul is.
Hmm,
I forget what they're called again.
Dathomir.
Yeah, from Dathomir. But he's the one asking questions. He has like some like fairly short horns and is got a bit of a muscular build, but a little bit he's a little bit more on the slender side, but like as close as you can get to calling it slender before you start calling him big. Um, and he's kind of got a dark complexion to him with um, kind of gold tattoos on his face. Um, he's there, and then you see a couple of the other people that came with him. They're checking out the rest of the ship. Um, they're on there with their data pads. They're punching in stuff, and they're looking over your ship. They're like turning stuff over to be like, oh, nothing under there, nothing hiding under there. They're like tapping on the walls a little bit, and they move through the hangar bay, and they say, cargo bay is clear. Um, we'll be inspecting the rest of the ship, but proceed to a life form scan for me, please, and let me know what you come up with. Um, starts
We
with
do
the he
have
pulls out the
one of
little
them.
scanner,
We do
and
have
he's
one of our pilots or our crew members sleeping in the quarters. So when you do go and do the scan, please try not to disturb him too badly. Do whatever you need to do. Just letting you know.
noted, and he kind of gives a nod to the person with the life form scanner. He's like, he takes a little bit of a yonder around the ship inside on the other side of the hangar bay, and he goes through the doors that lead to the rest of the ship. Um,
As for the asteroid, I was testing out the new ship to see how our tractor beam worked, and then on initial scan, I saw some interesting material on it. So I was gonna see if I can work it out and maybe tinker around with it. Other than that, I really don't have any uses for this thing.
hmm, interesting indeed. Hmm. Well, I'm terribly sorry for the inconvenience that we have caused you. These inspections happen with every ship nowadays. The Rebellion has been quite stingent on their checks for Imperial spies and castaways, or people who are passing off as castaways, to make their way to the core worlds, um, and gather information. Um, the rebellion needs to crack down on pirates as well, and we've caught a couple. That's how we got that second CR-90 over there.
Oh wow.
And he kind of like nods out the hangar bay, and you can see one of the CR-90s that's floating by. That's like a slightly different color.
They'll just let any whack job take a ship nowadays. That's weird. You know, I heard over in Tatooine there have been races where they just take broken ships and then they like take them and put them together. And I think it's just weird.
Well, you take the best of this ship and you take the best of that ship, and then you take what you think you like from that ship and it looks cool, and you got yourself a, you know, you just keep throwing them together.
Yeah, but sometimes the raw power from that stuff, those starfighter races, or yeah, those pilots. There's no way I could do anything like that. Those guys are crazy.
Yes, yes they are. Oh look, my my boys are back. And you see the one that has the life form scan is like, yep, everything checks out. There's just the one life form back there that was, I'm assuming he's sleeping back there. But looks like everyone here is accounted for. And he looks around between you, Silverus, and Aurora, and Raven, um, and says everything seems to check out. Yes, thank you for complying. I know some of these pirates, they can put up a bit of a fight, and he kind of rubs his shoulder. He's like, some of them are kind of tough, and he kind of gives you a little bit of a nod. Um,
Yeah.
and they're like, everything checks out. We'll depart, and once we're back inside of our ship, we'll allow you to continue on your way.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
hmm They adorn back on their spacesuits, and they like lock them in. There's like a little bit of a suction noise, a high hiss as the um, spacesuit seals tight, and they proceed to go back out through the hangar bay into the zero gravity of space, and they go onto their troop transport basically, and go back over to their Nebulon B. You guys are now left um, back in the hangar bay, having just passed the inspection.
Very good.
Seems like you were worried for nothing.
You never know, man. I don't know everything that could be in this ship. They could have found something I didn't find. It's not like I've looked through here. All right, so going to shut the large door, the hangar door, after they leave, um, and head back up to the instruments. Um,
Okay.
Rebel Rebel Force checkpoint Zeta. Do I have clearance to continue my path, continue my vector?
Rebellion Police at Zeta 3. Yes, you are Broken Star. Safe travels. And may the Force be with you.
Copy that. And then just gonna continue on. Could you do the astrogation for me, Aurora, while I continue on our path.
I guess I can do that. I don't know if I'm the best.
I have no idea how fast this goes by per minute. I'm just slowly trying to move myself across the screen.
I see that.
It's like pinging every time too. So
Alrighty. I think that is though where I need to.
we'll call it.
Yeah, I'm like crashing and
Do we
burning.
want to call it as we're entering into the hyperspace before Hosnium, or that we're still doing the astrogation?
Let's do the end of it where you guys exit hyperspace in the Hosnian Prime.
Okay. Okay.
Where did that go? Let me just set this up real quick.
Alright.
Alright, I think that was a pretty good event.
Good stuff avoid too, so we don't pass too much without Noel being involved.
Not a large amount. I did expend a lot of my funds on that last planet. I'm gonna have to make sure that whatever I do it right on this next one. I do like a flat rate, because then I can have an idea. Haggling is probably not going to be a full-on, like, my character's thing, although I'm sure that it is a function of the game.
Okay. So, you guys figure out the astrogation check. Takes about 10 or so minutes. Aurora, you're making the astrogation check?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead and make me an astrogation check then, please.
Do I have to do it with the ship?
No, that is your skill.
Okay, hold on, give me a second to pull up my sheet. So I don't want to close my computer.
At least
pull it up
I
on my
think
phone.
so. Let me look. There you go. Oh, no, that's not the right one. Okay. Customization. Nope, nope, nope. That's not it. Adventuring. Astrogation results. Before jumping, a ship must plot a course by completing 10. Crew member can take 10 minutes to carefully make these calculations. A crew member can calculate astronavigation with an intelligence astrogation check. Okay, so yes, it is the person, not the ship.
Okay. So I just roll intelligence. I don't see an astrogation button on my thing.
Should be.
I'm not seeing one.
Intelligence, maybe a technology.
I'm seeing acrobatics. Athletics. Huh.
But it's an intelligence roll, is what it is, right?
Yeah.
So I just roll that then. It'll be the same thing.
Yeah, basically piloting.
14.
Okay. Easy enough. Not that complicated of a system. It's only one jump as well. Shouldn't be too difficult anyway. The calculations are put in. Everything seems to look alright. It gets kind of double checked. And I'm going to bring you guys to this map. And this is what you see.
Oh shit.
Mm-hmm. You see, well, maybe you don't see the TIE fighters there, but they're there, but you don't really see them. Two ISDs that are hovering over the planets, and a comms coming over the, just like all frequencies, starts lighting up. And then I got this set up. I need to find it real quick. Hold on, give me a minute. No, why did it do the... Come on. Okay, hold on. I gotta find this real quick. Gotta scroll back a ways. Actually, maybe it is.
You see a very pretty map here.
Mm-hmm.
I see a yellow thing, and a blue thing, and a green thing, and a lighter green thing, purple thing.
Yes, so to describe it a little bit, so well, there's the sun, that's the yellow, or the star, the Hosnian star, is a yellow star. And there are 5 planets. The dark green one here with the blue and the yellow that's in it is Hosnian Prime. The other one are the other planets that, even when looking on Wikipedia, they just like have the name and that's it. They didn't give any information to them because they just get blown up. So in episode 7.
So it'd probably just be like Hosnian, like.
Oh, they gave them
Hosnian
names.
3. Oh, they did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me pull them up real quick. Oh, I had that pulled up earlier.
Because like Yavin 4, I'm pretty sure that was just like that was the fourth place in the sector.
It
Kind
is
of like in Star Wars.
Quartzilius, Ratio, Hosnian, and Cardota, and then Hosnian Prime are the different planets here. The light brown splotches around the map are asteroids. Asteroids you can see through, but are protected and can't shoot through with lasers. Lasers or weapons in general. The asteroids are too concentrated together that you can become obscured, so it gives you a form of cover from basically being seen. And you can't really shoot through them. You're pretty lucky to get a laser through them. But you could, in theory, shoot a whole bunch of times right in the center mass of them and like cut a path through, and then continue to shoot to hit whatever target you're looking at. The purple is that's basically nebula. If you go into them, you become heavily obscured. You basically go invisible, but it makes your ship kind of go crazy. Like I think it like I forget exactly what it does, but like it messes with your shields, it messes with your comms, your targeting systems. Um, and then the black part is space.
Well, I couldn't have figured that one out.
Mm-hmm. While you are on the other side of these planets, we're just kind of playing them as if like I kind of wanted it to be reminiscent of World of Warships, honestly. That was kind of the main idea. So the planets are there. You are technically flying. If you fly around a planet, you're technically flying around the planet. But the planets represent basically cover that cannot be destroyed, that cannot be seen through. If you are on the other side of a planet and no other ship has line of sight of you, you are considered 100% obscured. You're not seen. You're not detected when you are on the other side of a planet. Um, and I might work something different with the asteroids as well. But you hear over the basically on all frequencies, um, you hear a kind of like a gruff, war-torn veteran, raspy voice, kind of an older voice, say, "Citizens of the galaxy, for too long the New Republic has spread disorder, chaos, and lawlessness in the wake of the Empire's fall. Their false promises of peace have only sown division. They claim to stand for freedom, but freedom without order is merely an invitation to anarchy. Today, the Empire rises from the ashes, not as a fractured remnant, but as a force of stability. We will cleanse the galaxy of weakness and corruption. Planets that defy the Empire's will must understand one truth. Loyalty is rewarded and defiance is obliterated. With our weapon of precision, we will target their strongest world, sending a message that none can escape the long arm of imperial justice. Their cities will fall, their fleets will scatter, and their governments will crumble under the might of our renewed strength. Do not be swayed by the lives of the new republic. The future belongs to those who embrace order and strength. The Empire shall reign again, and those who stand with us will be the foundation of a new era." And then it repeats again. "Citizens of the galaxy," and it just keeps going and going and going. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session, guys. It was so fun.
Well,
Alright.
you must have gotten a second win there.
At the very end, yes.
Yeah. Good job. That was good.
Yeah. It took me a little bit, but I got it. I got it.
Did you state that pink mist, that purple mist? Did you
Mm-hmm.
state what that was?
Yes.
Nebula.
Yeah.
nebula. It was supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
a nebula.
Kind of like how
What's that?
Empire at War, basically.
Are you going to have it do kind of the same thing?
Yeah, pretty much. Where you can go into that and you're just like you're obscured. You're not seen, whatever, but like you can't really activate any of your like if you had a special ability. Basically, that's how it
Yeah.
works in Empire at War, Jordan. So in this one, in D&D, I don't know what I'm gonna roll with it exactly. There are rules about nebula and like being in a nebula. Nebula. Nope, nothing popped up. I don't know.
I have better luck looking at the Star Trek side.
Yeah, let's see here. I remember seeing something about like hazards. Let me spaceship hazards.
Good thing you didn't land us in the nebula.
Yeah, I don't think your ship would allow that. There's hyperspace hazards. Communications, ship registration. Oh, look, they do have like a whole ship registration transponders code in the thing here.
Oh, they do? Nice.
Yeah, it says, and we're done here, Jordan. If you do end up needing to get off, I'm just kind of rambling in my before I fall asleep. Um, so it says ship registration. Pilots are required to register their starships with the Bureau of Ships and Services, or BOSS. Additionally, at registration, a pilot must acquire an operating license at the cost of 1,000 credits. To be eligible for a license, they must pass a written piloting test, which requires a DC intelligence piloting check. Okay, okay. Transponder codes. When ships are created, they are assigned a unique signal called a transponder code. Once registered with the boss, this signal can be used to identify the ship using the boss database. The transponder code can be used to identify a ship's owner, designation, make, model, as well as any registered modifications. Additionally, a transponder code can be used to access the ship's ownership history. The transponder code is built into the ship's sublight engines, making any attempt to remove or alter it incredibly difficult.
Oh, catch you guys
Failing
later.
an attempt, yep, see you, Jordan. Failing an
Alright, see you,
attempt
man.
could damage or destroy a ship's engines. The BOSS is a long-standing, impartial third-party galactic organization that manages all data related to the massive number of starships present in the galaxy. BOSS has stood for thousands of years due to their ability to stay neutral in conflicts. Information on the ship's ownership and its captain's certifications are kept on file at the BOSS at all times. The data is distributed through spaceports upon request, but it is an expensive and slow process. As a result of this, smaller spaceports rarely update their registries more than once a year. The security on BOSS computer systems is of the highest caliber money can buy, making it almost impossible to access without proper authorization codes. That's really interesting, and I did not know any of that. Hmm.
I'm gonna have to look up this boss thing. Because it seems interesting that they stayed neutral through everything.
Uh-huh.
type in boss, put in Star Wars, and it comes up with a commando.
Hmm.
Now I gotta know what this. Now I gotta know what this clone commando is about.
In addition to their duties of regulating information regarding ship ownership, the boss also maintains a database of astrogation information. Each time a ship docks in a major spaceport, they can update their astrogation data for a 150 credit fee. The data is routinely updated and is rarely more than a week old. Hmm.
Boss, Boss and Delta Squad, which included second-in-command Fixer, Sev, and Scourge, participated in some of the war's most dangerous missions. At one point, he and his squad were fielded into a battle from LAT, one of the LAATs,
Mm-hmm.
with the mission of taking control of the location. Boss and his squad were also dispatched to the planet Deveron in the aftermath of the massacre and recovered the bodies of Jedi Master Halsey and his Padawan Nox, returned them to Coruscant. The squad was met on the landing platform by Jedi Council members Obi-Wan Kenobi, Plo Koon, Thasei Tian, and Adi Gali, who noted that the massacre was of similar caliber of damage done by Asajj Ventress, who was presumed dead. Security footage of the battle was recovered and included a hologram of Halsey's death at the hands of an as yet unknown assassin. I thought this was gonna be. I thought something was gonna be badass about this.
Hmm.
I mean, it does say he goes on a lot of the most dangerous missions, but it didn't say anything like super crazy. Anyway, boss systems.